Christopher Wray in the hot seat. Senators grilled President Trump's pick to replace former FBI Director Jim Comey for hours yesterday. Many of the questions focused on how Wray would respond to a situation that led up to the ouster of Comey.
My loyalty is to the Constitution, to the rule of law, and to the mission of the FBI. And no one asked me for any kind of loyalty oath at any point during this process, and I sure as heck didn't offer one.
The President asked you to do something unlawful or unethical. What do you say?
First, I would try to talk him out of it, and if that failed, I would resign. The relationship between any FBI director and any president needs to be a professional one, not a social one. And there certainly shouldn't be any discussion between one-on-one discussion between the FBI director and any president about how to conduct particular investigations or cases.
Joining us this morning is former Whitewater independent counsel and federal prosecutor Robert Wray. Robert, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Well, your reaction to Wray's performance yesterday, how did he do?
I think he did great. He gave the right answers, I think, that senators were looking for from both political parties. And I think, you know, he's the right tonic for the times, a low-key, by reputation guy, also in presentation before the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I think it's the right antidote at the right time for what was perceived to be, on a bipartisan basis, Jim Comey being too far out in front of his skis.
You know, he has a pretty illustrious career, but he's never actually led an institution, the Justice Department, that was focused on national security. You know, he spent most of his time in the criminal division. The FBI Trump-Russia issue is a counterintelligence investigation.
Right.
Do you think he's qualified to lead it, the Justice Department or the FBI at this time?
I think he was sensitive to that in the questioning, and his portfolio did include at the time, when he was the head of the criminal division before the reorganization that took place in the wake of 9/11, did have components that dealt with counterterrorism. So, and leading the criminal division at the Justice Department is a significant position. I mean, that's a big deal. It's less focused on now because we're more focused on anti-terrorism type things, and that's not part of the criminal division's portfolio. But he's well qualified, and I don't think there was any appetite in the Senate Judiciary Committee or in the Senate generally with regard to, you know, by Democrats to take him on. And it seems like he'll be easily confirmed.
Sounds like, yeah, you think he'll get confirmed?
Yes.
Dianne Feinstein even said she thought he was a reasonable candidate. Can you forecast, presuming he does get the approval, what's the FBI going to look like and act like and be like under him? Is it going to be different, the same? We had a lot of sort of notoriety that came with Comey.
Right.
What's it going to be like under Wray?
Well, you know, part of it, though, is despite what every FBI director says on confirmation that, you know, I'm going to be guided only by the law and I'm going to be guided only by my obligations under the Constitution, I have to tell you that having served in Washington, it's not a political position, but you are in a political environment.
That was actually going to be my question.
And it is inevitable. As much as you might wish to, you know, wish it away to believe otherwise, the answer to your question is that's what makes it interesting. That remains to be seen. And there's no question that no matter who the president is, and it's a 10-year term, obviously intended by Congress to stretch over more than one administration, that you will have collisions with politics. And the question is how you handle it. And that's the, you know, that's the challenge. It'll be a challenge with regard to matters involving counterterrorism. It'll be a challenge with regard to the political environment. And you don't know what history is going to, you know, present over the course of 10 years.
So you just don't know because Wray pledges that he will be
doesn't matter who the candidate is.
Political
doesn't
pressure.
matter who the nominee is. You know, it is a challenging position. I mean, the one thing I think everybody agrees on is, boy, accepting a position like this, the impact it has on your family and how difficult it is to be FBI director for all of these reasons. But politics is one of those reasons. And it's inevitable that there will be collisions with the political process.
And to be clear, it's not, I'm not just talking about pressure from inside the White House or pressure from President Trump. It's also pressure from the left. There will be great pressure on him to be vocal about the about anything going on with the Russia investigation, although that's being handled by special counsel. So it's pressure from all sides. Not,
you know,
just
look, everybody
one
should
side.
take comfort that, and I think that's why he's the right tonic. Look, I'm about following the Constitution and following the rules. But in a charged environment, that's not so easy to do, as Jim Comey and every FBI director ultimately comes to find out.